Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We've got a bonus play this week. We're going to take a look at NC State Clemson. Brian's going to give you a play on this game, but we're doing this one kind of as a handicapping lesson too, because you got some interesting things you want to talk about with this one. And Brian Leonard, this is a guy that flies under the radar on the Vegas betting scene. This is a guy that's out there every day pounding the numbers. I give him kudos on Sunday. He's standing at the win, waiting for the numbers to pounce on him as soon as the win brings him out. There's a lot of people in our industry, Brian. I don't want to take shots at anybody, but there's a lot of people that sell picks in this business. There's not a lot of people that actually bet as well as sell picks, and I respect immensely the people that are putting their money where their mouth is. You're one of those guys. I bet everything that I put out. And I think that's the way it should be. And you're a guy not only at the win, but at the beginning of the season. I think they come out, in July?
June.
June they bring them out. The Golden Nugget here in town, all these free things were popping out. I got to start talking to the Win and Golden Nugget for some sponsorship. But Golden Nugget brings out the games of the year where they put out, 250 games for the whole season, but what they think are kind of marquee games, huge conference games. And they'll set a number in June, and you're down there pounding those numbers every year and taking those. There's limits on those games. What is it, $1,000 or $2,000?
Yeah, $1,000. I talked to Tony Miller. We did videos earlier this year, and I told him to raise it because they had a little bit of a drop-off. And I said, if you just raise the limits, you'll get more people down there. There's a lot of guys, for example, that are really big bettors. They don't want to waste their time going down there for $1,000. If he makes it 2, 3, he'll get more people down there. But yeah, you're right about, unfortunately the industry we're in. I'm in the sports books all the time, and there's certain guys in this industry I've never seen in the sports book unless they're doing a radio show from the sports book. But yeah, I was able to catch 21.5 with NC State in this game. But at this point,
in the games of the year,
earlier back there, which is a great number now, because we're looking at 14.5. But this is a really interesting situation. We like to get into, what I try to do is get into the thought processes of the players in these games. You got an NC State team who I believe is improving. They've looked terrible early in the year. Georgia Southern, they had to come back at the last minute. Well, we've since found out that Georgia Southern's a pretty good team.
Right.
But they came back last week. They take a big lead on the national champions, defending national champions, Florida State. And then as the game went on, Florida State kind of wore them down and was able to win that game later on in the contest. But if you're NC State, how do you treat that? Is that a positive that you played a great half against the #1 team in the country, at least from last year? Or do you look at that game and say, you know what, we're just not deep enough to compete with these type of teams? So that's something you always have to look at when you're trying to evaluate these teams, especially early in the season where we're still at right now. On the opposite spectrum, Clemson comes into this season, no Taj Boyd and
no Sammy Watkins.
No Sammy Watkins, the #3 pick in the draft. Thank you, Buffalo, for giving us 2 number 1s for Cleveland for a wide receiver. Even though he's going to be a great wide receiver, you don't make moves like that for wide receivers. But anyway,
unless you have a quarterback that can throw to him.
Well, there's a problem right there. But you have Clemson now. The other quarterback gets hurt. They bring in a really talented young quarterback at Clemson. Sets all types of records last week. 6 touchdown passes. The announcers were glowing about this player. So now Clemson, the whole campus at Clemson, which was coming into this thing thinking, oh, we lost our 2 big playmakers on offense. We're going to struggle. A couple weeks ago, they played Florida State. Florida State with a backup quarterback and lost that game in a situation where they could have won it. I thought they were going to have a letdown last week.
I did. I put out NC. We took North Carolina on the video last week and just missed the penny. It actually closed some places at 15, but we put it out at 14.5 and lost the half a point there because of an unbelievable offensive performance by Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson played a great game in that, and a lot of it was North Carolina just trying to keep up with the Clemson offense. I think Clemson was clearly the better team in that game. But you have a young player, a freshman, comes in, everybody on campus is patting you on the back. Oh man, we're all excited now. Granted, this is a good player, but it could be overrated here. So you have to balance the situation from NC State. which is the situation for Clemson. Now, like I said, I'm sitting on the 21.5 with NC State. I like that, but the number now is 14.5. This is going to be one of those rare occasions where I'm going to try to middle this game because I think Clemson is the right side, but I wanted to point out that you have to handicap these games totally different because of what happened last week. If these two games went, teams just played a normal game last week, you handicap it one way. Now you have to go in and try to put yourself in the position of the players. I think Clemson's on the way up, even though I don't like the situation with the quarterback having such a great week and being patted on the back. But this is a Clemson team I think we can make some money on the rest of the year.
So you're going to go ahead and lay the points with Clemson?
I'll lay the 14 points here with Clemson because I think it's going to go up a little bit. So I'm going to set myself up for a possible middle.
So just for the bettors to give them a handicapping edge, you're sitting on, let's just say for the sake of argument, you're sitting on a ticket for 1 unit on NC State plus 21.5 because you got that back in June.
Right.
What do you do here? Do you just bet 1 unit, or are you, because you like Clemson enough, are you going to go ahead and take it and bet it for 1.5 or 2 units so that you've got the side you actually like, but you still have a chance for a middle?
I'm going to stick with the 1 unit and try for the middle. And that's the thing is you're trying to set yourself up no matter when you're betting, whether it be early in the week, we talked about going on the win, or if it's early in the season, you try to set yourself up with the best information at that point. At that point, I thought NC State getting the big number was too much to get from Clemson because I thought they'd be down. After watching Clemson this year and with the new quarterback, I think they're going to be better than what we thought. So you have to change your opinion as it goes on. You can't be like somebody who bets against Dallas all the time and continues to do
all right,
the same thing.
We're running out of time. That's going to wrap things up for this edition with Brian. Nice guy. All right, so you got some handicapping lessons from Brian, how to work the market, finding the numbers, and then using them to your advantage later on in the season. He says to take Clemson minus the points this week as a bonus pick. And that's it for this week on college football. We'll be back at WagerTalk.com.